Hello.
You doing?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good. I'm good.
Do you ever get nervous before these things as people aren't going to show up?
Yes, it's always like hosting a party, and you think no one's gonna come. But I we haven't got mega traffic. Um, there was about trying to recall from memory about 80 people that looked at this,
Okay.
and about 10 people that signed up.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah,
not webinar. I don't know. Webinars are maybe not the thing. I don't know.
I don't know. I think this is kind of the whole point, really. People don't. I don't think they get it. So when they see it, they think, "Oh, that's not going to work for me," or "It's not for me," straight off the bat. When at the end of the day, they want more business, and that's
Yeah,
what it does. So this is the wall I've been trying to climb since the beginning.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm sure.
Oh, I need that.
Yeah. So I remembered who the client was that because I knew there was someone that had used it and I couldn't
Oh, okay.
not get to them. It was FreshPay.
Oh, okay.
So I was leading the marketing for their launch. So I worked with them for 6 months to help them launch the business.
Oh, what a coincidence. Well, I know Claire Jordan, not Claire Jordan. She's not Jordan anymore. I know
No,
Claire really well. I mean, I've known Claire for years.
I
She's our bookkeeper because she works through another business, Cypher, who's our accountant.
yeah, okay.
So
That
yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
it
So
makes total sense.
I'm pleased I got to that because I'm like, no, I've definitely and the reason I got to that today was because I was searching for the questions. Let me just pull this mic over. I was searching for the questions that I had prepared,
Yeah.
and then I've basically got all of the files to upload to the website, and I'm like, oh,
There it is.
yeah, I'm definitely a bit of a digital hoarder. Right, let me just check my mic. There's that. Right, is that better sound?
Yeah, you just suddenly it's a bit richer now.
Yeah.
Is mine okay?
Yeah, yours seems fine.
I've got this proper thingy on me. I always put it there and just try and get it out of the way. And then every now and again it sneaks forward and appears in the shot. I've done a whole video where it was just at the bottom and it really annoyed me. I had to re-record it. You want you in the shot.
Fair enough. Are you standing up? In some of your videos, you stand up.
No, what with this background, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm always actually sat. So I'm actually sat at a desk. It's just at a bit of an angle. So maybe it looks like I'm standing, but no, I'm sat.
Yeah.
I find if I stand, I start to fidget.
Yeah.
So probably best me sat down.
Yeah, no, that's reasonable. I think I'm on the verge of getting a stand-up desk.
Oh, cool.
I think that's going to help my back problems, but
Right.
we shall see.
Is it
Right,
going to be one of those ones where you can lower it though and sit if you want to?
yeah,
Right.
yeah. But then, where's all the crap on my desk going to go? Because you can't keep moving that up and down; it'll all fall off.
Right. Yeah, there's something plugged in that's really tight on the cable, and then you start to go up and it pulls your laptop off or something.
Yeah.
Oops. Now I need a new laptop.
So, do you want? I mean, these are just a mix of questions, but do you want to go over them while we've got time?
Yeah, that sounds fine. I tend to find that when I've done ask questions of people, that actually flows better when it's just what comes out of one question, because normally that lets it go. But yeah, if there's anything you want to highlight, absolutely.
Well, it's just as reminders really for me. So, I listened to or I watched the video. That was an
Oh
awesome
yeah.
testimonial. So it was really good, and it's really nice to have. Who was it? No, I can't remember her name, but she just commented on my Facebook. She's like, "Yeah, we've been using this.
Yeah.
It's amazing. This has got loads of business." I'm like, "Brilliant, great."
Yeah. Yeah, but that's it. Once they get it, it's just, oh, cool. We'll keep using
Mm.
this.
So, what I thought we would go over, um, start with what results we're getting, but don't go deep into it.
Hmm.
Just kind of highlights because then that captures the attention
Yeah.
to let them hear the story. So I'll ask you for the highlights. Then we'll go back into your past and
Okay.
work out why you have started this company and what drew you to this product.
Okay.
I think we need to cover the different types of chatbots there are out there, pros and cons type stuff, because you need to
Yep.
give perspective and balance. Um, and then we'll drill down into why the human interaction is important. So, communication styles, what people's expectations are when they visit websites today, which has changed over the past few years. Um,
Sure.
we might touch on, and I know this is not something you do, but we might touch on website traffic, because your chatbot doesn't work unless you drive traffic there. And I think that's going to be important to make, because you're going to need to work with people who are taking that seriously.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I've actually got a little note here based on that because I think everyone thinks they need to have huge numbers of traffic for it to work.
Yeah.
And that accountant in the video that I sent you, I think they only get about 250 visitors a month, which is
Right.
actually pretty low,
Yeah.
but they still got a £1,600 a month client,
Yeah.
um, plus others that they couldn't really, quantify during the video, but
That's interesting.
get massive returns even if you've got lower volumes.
Yeah. So on that point, then positioning is really important, because the search term that they use was modern accountant.
Yeah,
So making, yeah, positioning your business effectively is good, and it also, on that note, the positioning helps them to reaffirm what their position is, because lots of accountants say that they are proactive and friendly and
yes, and different.
yeah, and then they like just say book a call, and they don't have any ways of talking to people, and so we'll discuss how it can help set them apart.
Okay.
What else? Success stories. Um, Marketing budgets like a good one to bring up. That came out of the of your testimonial as well. He said it's just part
Yes.
of his marketing budget now.
Yeah,
So we'll touch on costs if you're comfortable with that,
absolutely.
and then talk about why it should be included in the marketing budget, or why they should have one, because they don't ever have a marketing budget. It feels
Yeah,
like,
sure. Yeah, they want to grow and get more business.
yeah, yeah. And you say, well, what's your
I find
budget?
that really frustrating.
Yeah. um, mm, mm, mm.
It's easily. So you said it's half an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's easy. Half an hour's worth of chat going on there.
yeah. We've got there's some other bits and bobs, like creating a positive experience, but this, I think we're just going to cover it. That's what I think. So I've left them down the bottom. Uh,
Okay, sounds good.
okay, okay.
I think your mic's a bit crackly. I keep hearing a little bit of crackly
Is
feedback.
it?
Yeah.
Hmm. I don't know what to do about that. Hold on. Was it better on the other mic?
It might be worth just switching over and seeing if it still does it because it's pretty constant. There's like just a
Is that any better?
fuzzy sound.
How's that?
That's better. Yeah. I mean, you sound a little more echoey, but there's no fuzziness now.
Wait one moment. I'm just going to turn the video off for 2 seconds. Is that any better?
Yes. No crackling now.
Marginally. I've got a broken fan in my laptop,
Right.
and I think it gets picked up. I say broken, we've tried to fix it, but it's just not quite right.
Right. Okay.
Again.
Yeah, I was worried about mine. Just as I came on, the fan started, and it's tiny fans compared to this other one I've got, which sounds like it's literally taking off.
Yeah.
But it always seems to kick in when you least want it to. So
yeah,
it's one of those
and
things.
I also work, but my husband has his desk. He's not there at the moment, but he has his desk right next to me, and
Right.
he has
Okay.
like a mega computer, and they go woo.
Yeah. Yeah. That's because he's secretly gaming behind the screen. You think he's working.
It's not secret.
Oh, blatant.
Yeah. Yeah, he works shift work.
Okay.
So he gets, from my perspective, a lot of time off. From his
Right.
perspective, he actually does work during the night.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. While you're fast asleep.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when I'm here like bustling away, he's like, gaming and
Yeah.
like doing all fun stuff.
Well, at least you can sit and, research holidays and stuff while you're working. It's always a
Well,
benefit.
yeah, I guess so. I guess so. But it's normally he's just playing Star Trek or something like that.
Yeah. So let's just hope we get those 10 join us. And I think that's the worst one when you get no one.
Yeah, well, this is one of the reasons why I've done it as a webinar and
Yeah.
not as a live, like a group call. I prefer the group calls because I like to present in a more workshop type style. So I like to ask questions and make sure that people's understanding is there, and that's my comfort zone. So this is
Sure.
not my comfort zone, but for this to go up onto YouTube and to get seen by more people, we really do need it to be this style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So even if there's like one or two, as long as there's some questions, then we're all good.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. And then you can share it out.
Excellent.
So this will also, as part of the marketing, this goes out to everybody this Friday.
Okay.
Everybody who's signed up for all of the webinars and my list. And then it also goes out every other Friday, every Friday from then on, as a reminder to go to the private YouTube playlist.
Okay.
And then once all the webinars are done, they will all go live onto YouTube.
Okay. Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Would we be able to get a copy of it as well? Because we have an accountant's landing page. We have one now, but new website will be coming live in a couple of weeks, and that's going to have a few more videos on it. So it'd be good to have this as well.
Yeah, you can have it. I'll upload it to a drive, and you can just go and take it.
Cool.
Yeah. And I've started the recording already.
Yes.
Because I forgot to record my one.
Oh no.
Because I was just panicking. So
Oh dear. That's the worst, isn't it? Now, can we just do that all over again?
Yeah. Yeah. And for the other ones, I've literally had a post-it note right on the middle of my monitor saying hit record.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then for my one, I didn't. So I forgot.
Yeah. What's the harm of having 20 minutes of editing out to do at the beginning? As long as it's recorded.
Exactly. That's the easy part. You just chunk it and go.
Doorne-Millott. Yeah, all gone. Yeah. Yeah, just don't forget to do that or have that bit at the end. I almost put a video out on LinkedIn where I'd left the little playhead thing far too close to the end, and it just had loads of static. And I think I spoke at the end off camera. Okay. I didn't notice, just noticed I was about to publish it and had to go back and do it. And I thought, that would have been embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm not an editor. I don't like going back over the stuff that I've done, like to fix stuff. I like to create new stuff. I like new. Yeah. So things like editing, that's not me. I need to get someone to help me with it, really.
Okay, turn it into a game and your husband's like, yeah, I can do that.
I've tried.
He doesn't want it.
No,
Not an
and
editor.
he is an editor, and he's sound engineer. He does sound engineer type stuff as well for his personal amusement. Still nothing.
Right.
I think I should sack him.
Definitely.
Right, where are we? 1 minute to go. I'll start it on exactly, and then we will wait for 2 minutes max. Just say
Okay.
hello. We'll have a little chat while hopefully people are coming into the room. Then I will introduce you. Then I'll ask the first question, and you can roll from there.
Brilliant.
Good.
Sounds good. Perfect.
Okay. Wondering if I'm missing anything else. I'm not, am I? Okay, we are now live. We'll just wait for some people to come into the room. No, I don't know whether anyone ever knows what to say at this point. It's like waiting for a little minute.
Waiting for people to come in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please turn
last last time Pippa and I started talking about the horrors of live video.
Right.
And that's where the first take format videos came into play. So she made me do them. So we're just welcoming some people into the room. Hello, if you are here, say hello. Pippa's here. I was just saying to Lee that last time we were doing this part of the webinar, first take format videos were created. So thanks for that. Right, so if you've got questions, it'd be nice for people to say hello. If you've got questions, I'm going to be manning the Q&A box, so please drop any questions you've got in there. I think you can talk amongst yourself on the chat. I believe so. So once again, if you've got anything in there, or anything to say, you can say it. Hi guys. Oh, your chat is disabled. Okay, how do I do this? Hold on. 3 things. Anyone can chat. There you are. Is that now working? If you could confirm, that would be amazing.
It'd be good if chat was working for a webinar about live chat, wouldn't it?
Okay, Pippa, just let me know whether that is working. Should be good. Looks good. Yay! Excellent. Good. Right, that's working. That is the admin side done. So I want to introduce you to Lee Rennie from Milu. I've been pronouncing it wrong all of this time, by the way. I've been saying it Melu.
Everyone does that, don't worry.
So I want you to introduce Lee from Milu. Lee is an expert in human-operated live chat. Now, with the way that everything's going at the moment, the human-operated is something that's standing out from the crowd because we are dealing with a lot of web bots, chat bots, AI tech, things like this that make everything seem so easy, but it misses this massive human element. So I'm really excited to have Lee here today to explain to you what chatbots are about, what they can do, what the benefits are, how it can drive business to your companies as well. So welcome, Lee. Thanks for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I want to go back because you've been in this space since 2018.
Correct, yep.
Yeah. Obviously there has been a massive shift in in culture because of COVID.
Yeah.
And I would imagine you saw some increased demand and some skepticism at the same time because people were very worried about what the state of business would be. So take me back to 2018 before COVID existed and walk me through the journey so far.
Sure. So originally I owned and ran a web design business, and we used to build WordPress websites for businesses from very small startups up to one point, one of our biggest clients was the Royal Ballet School in London. And the problem that we always found with all of those was really just how they engaged with visitors. At the end of the day, the websites can have a lot of work done on them, but they just give you a phone number to call or a web form to fill in. And that just seemed to be the same across the board. So we thought there needed to be something else. And obviously chatbots were around at that point and actually really easy to use, really easy to install. And that was part of the problem because they were installed too quickly and too easily without really thinking about what effects they would have. So we thought, well, having real people surely is going to be the thing. Because if you pick up the phone, you would never expect to speak to a robot or an automated service unless it was an answer phone. Speak to a person. So why should that be any different if you're on someone's website and there is chat? Why should you talk to a robot that probably can't really do much when you really want to speak to a person? So that's kind of how it all came about.
Well, it's interesting. So I want to get a flavour, and this is just a flavour because we'll go deep later. What kind of results are you getting from live chat?
So we have lots of different industries using our service, but from the accountancy side of things, it's really, really good for lead generation because it's about being there for the visitor and being convenient for them in that moment. So let's say a website gets 1,000 visitors a month and 80% of those people are never going to pick up the phone. They're probably never going to fill in a form. They're there to see if there's something that's just right for them in that moment. If they see something they like, but they're not prepared to make a phone call, how do they reach out? How do they say, can you help me with this? And that's where the live chat comes in. And it just really helps scoop up those people that are just too busy to call, don't want to call, but need that confirmation or at least the next step to be done. And that's where we get our results, especially for accountants. People come onto their websites and say, can you do my tax return? I'm a new business. Can you be my accountant? Can you help me with CGT or something like that? And it's very easy for us to say, yes, we can do that. I can book you in for a call. Give us your details. And when they see that they've done that with a real person, they feel like they're talking with the client, of course. You know, they don't realize that we as Milu are doing it for our clients. So they think we're talking to this client, this company, and that's great. We've already got our foot in the door. I look forward to the call. And it converts really well.
There's one example where somebody has won a client from cold, just landing on their website, and within a couple of days, that client had signed up to a £1,600 package. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's really important to kind of to understand that the return on this can be so much faster, because I've dealt with websites for a long time, and if they don't have the ability to take an action, you lose them, or you put them into a nurturing funnel, which is like typical marketing. You put them into a nurturing funnel, and that could take months and months and months of kind of nurturing and being in their world until they convert. So that really stood out to me when I heard that. The conversion was super fast because they were ready at that moment.
Yeah, and the interesting story about that lead, which came through one of our accountancy clients, was that the actual chat happened at 6 o'clock on a Friday evening when they were actually closed. And this person really wanted to get hold of someone right there and then. And they probably would have called if someone had answered the phone.
Yeah.
So they spoke to us. We actually booked them in for a discovery call through Calendly. A lot of people use that or similar products to book in time slots in someone's diary. Monday morning, that call happened. And by the end of Monday, they'd signed a proposal for $1,600 a month.
That's amazing.
And the client was basically saying it probably wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for live chat, because if they'd have rang, it would have just gone to an answer phone. So, you know, they're very happy that they had us there. But interestingly, that client only gets about 250 visitors a month. So they're not high volume. It was about being there for the visitor when they needed it.
Yeah, I'm going to come back to the website traffic because you've made a really valid point. But before we move on to that, you offer live chat. So explain how that is manned, so people understand how it operates.
Yeah, so we have a team of real people who are mostly based here in the UK. We have a couple of people in the USA as well, and they are like what you'd expect from a call center that answers telephone calls on behalf of somebody. So most businesses are aware of outsourcing someone to answer their phone if they're busy, because that's the thing here. No one wants to miss a phone call. You know, they put their phone number on everything they've got, website, business cards. They don't want to miss anything. Yet hundreds, thousands of people are hitting their website every month, and they're missing a ton because what you're giving them is those communication methods. So that's why it works really well to have real people there, because they can engage at any time of day. So we provide the people so that businesses can just focus on converting. As you say, you're putting things in the top of the funnel. If you're having to do that yourself, obviously you can do that. And I would advise everyone to consider using live chat themselves first to see what it can do. But if someone else is doing that for you, you just have to focus on the good stuff, making callbacks, converting people into new business.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the making callbacks is a qualified call, so it becomes a lot easier in your mind. You know,
Yes.
the call's there, you understand what it's about. There's notes been taken, the call's been set. Everyone's expecting you to be on that phone. So from your perspective, it must take the pressure off.
Yeah.
But what other chatbots are out there? So Milu's not that. Milu did it again. Milu is not the only chat function out there. So what are the alternatives?
Well, I think there's three main categories for live chat. Live chat being the general term for all of it. You've obviously got your chatbots, which are all automated. So there's no people involved. It's going to appear at the bottom and it's going to say, can I help you with one of these possible things? Some chatbots are better than others, but they all need programming. You know, you can plug them in with default settings, but they're generally not going to do a great job. The next one, which is the ones obviously that we would recommend, is doing it yourselves with real people. So that's self-managed. And you buy a bit of software, you install it on your website, and then your team has access to that and can handle chats whenever they come through. It's almost like a phone call. You hear the ringing sound, you answer it, and you start typing. The third option is what we do, which is where it's an outsourced managed service. So we're answering it for you, and we're sending you the pre-qualified leads that come from that, because we're asking them the right questions to make sure that they're suitable. We're asking them what they need, and then we're getting their details.
Yeah, I've used all of those services in the past. The first one, the chatbots that have access to libraries of information, they're good and they have their place up until a point. Up until the point where you need to ask a specific question about something that's like relevant to you, or you want to take it to another level. And I find that they can get really frustrating really fast. So yeah, where do you see them sitting in this world?
Well, I think they're great for big companies, because you imagine big blue chip companies. So I use Vodafone for our mobile phone, for example. They're going to have potentially tens of thousands of chats per day, and putting real people behind every single one of those is just not feasible for any business, no matter how much money they make. So chatbots are almost like a triage. You use them to help people maybe get 20-30% of their questions answered because they need something simple. And if they need something more, ultimately they try and get you through to a person, but you have to get through the bot first. The problem is when small to medium companies use them, they're not in the right context, because, I mean, using accountants, for example, it's all about the relationship. You know, the way that you get and retain a client is by building a relationship with them, understanding them, understanding their business. So how does it look for the visitor when the first real engagement option you give them, other than a phone call, is a bot that can't really do anything they want? So that's the problem for me. Chatbots definitely have a place, but for small, medium businesses, it's very rare that they will work well enough.
So the second example you gave was having it manned by the staff of the company that's running it. I've had this experience as well, where it was manned by the receptionist of a law firm. And I don't think that worked necessarily well, because she was constantly away from her desk.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a really good idea in theory, but in practice, she was running around the office making sure things were happening.
Yeah.
So, like, what are the problems that you come across in that area?
Well, the biggest problem with that one is that people doing it themselves have to be there all the time. You're committed to doing it. I did a set of videos on LinkedIn about this, and actually said to just try it for an hour a day. Set an hour where you knew you didn't have any meetings, someone else could answer the phone, and someone could sit for an hour and answer any chats that came through. And when you're not using it, you switch it off so it doesn't appear on the site. Because the problem is if the live chat widget appears and then someone clicks on it, it says, we'll answer within an hour. That's not live chat, that's messaging. And we may as well go back to email. They want instant responses. So also the worst thing there is, of course, if it's 10 o'clock in the morning and it says it's offline, that makes it like actually no one's at the business. So it's having a negative effect. So I think the biggest thing with doing it yourself is the commitment to it. And as I said before with telephones, you could be busy, but if the phone rings, you'll probably drop everything to answer it because you don't want to miss that opportunity. If a chat comes through, but no one's really taking any notice, they're going to miss it. And that actually is worse than, you may as well not have it. Yeah. And that's kind of then why the step up to then have a managed one works, because you just don't have to think about it.
I remember when I first started playing around with this, it feels like years ago. I'm not sure how many years ago, because time's irrelevant these days. But I used to have the Facebook Messenger chat thing on my site. It was awful. It was really awful. I couldn't manage it. I was here, there, and everywhere. Like, I wasn't using it properly. Like, I knew that I had it, but it was such an awful experience. I just took it off. I thought this is doing the people who arrive on my site a massive disservice.
Sure.
So I would imagine that you're hearing lots of horror stories as you're talking to people about this experience, that have had these experiences in the past, and don't understand there's a better way.
Yeah, and I think that's also why some people might say live chat doesn't work. Like, we know for sure, having spoken to lots of people in different industries, but also lots of accountants and bookkeepers, and say, hey, do you want to try our live chat service? And straight away, oh, no, that doesn't work. And it's normally because they've either tried a bot and that's just annoyed visitors, so it hasn't got anything for them, or they've tried to do it themselves and they couldn't commit the time. And that is the problem. You commit the time, you've got to have someone almost full-time on the live chat. You need someone to cover them when they have a break, or need to go to the loo, or need to have a holiday, or off sick. So suddenly the cost of the business is huge, and therefore it doesn't work from that perspective. But I think a lot of businesses do not realize that they can outsource it, or get someone else to manage it for them, like they would their telephones.
Yeah. So we have some questions coming in, and AI is going to come up again and again and again.
Sure.
So would the web chat still exist in years to come, since everyone is now talking about AI? Will AI take over this?
That's a really good question. And I actually had someone message me, I think it was the end of last year when ChatGPT had really taken off, saying, is this the end of your business? It's like, I think it was a bit tongue in cheek. The reality is, people coming onto the live chat want to chat to a person. And I don't think that's ever going to change. I don't think anyone goes onto a website thinking, oh, I wonder if they've got an AI bot that I can talk to. What they want is, oh, I want to speak to someone because I want to buy your services. I want to buy your products. So we have on a daily basis at least 100 chats that start with, are you a real person?
Yeah.
Because if it's a chatbot, they're gone. It doesn't matter how good the AI is, it's the mentality of the visitor. So you could say, hi, this is our AI bot. It's the best bot ever. It costs us £1 million. And the person goes, well, I'm not talking to a bot. And off they go. So it's less about the tech and more about the attitude of the visitors. because I would put my mortgage on it that 80-90% of people that come onto a website are going to prefer to talk to a person over something automated. And I don't think that'll ever change.
No, I don't think so either. When you were first when we first introduced you, you said that you were into web development way back. Do you think that the expectations of websites has changed? Do you think that the reason people visit them has kind of changed over the years?
Yeah, I think, well, my personal feeling on this is that there's two perspectives to this. There's the owner of the website, the business, and then there's the people that visit it. And they have both changed. So websites now, in my opinion, if you're going to have a website built for your company, it's because you want it to sell for you. You want it to bring more business into your funnel. It's not just a nice to have brochure where someone might go, oh, I'm just going to check these guys out before I call them. It's got to be making you money. Otherwise, it's not worth investing a penny into it. And on the flip side of that, the nature of what websites should be has changed a lot as well. And I think things like big shops like Amazon have caused this. It used to be that websites were very intricately designed and thought from aesthetic points of view.
Yeah, they were beautiful, like moving, and like the aesthetics of websites 10 years ago was amazing.
Yeah. Do you remember things like Flash, when Flash animations were a thing? We used to make those. That used to be my favorite thing in the world, because you're basically creating little movies and videos that people could click buttons on and stuff. It doesn't exist like that anymore. I mean, you can do animated SVGs and things, but they're just part of the site, not the basis of it.
Since mobile first came in and everything had to work on the mobile before desktop. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think Apple killed that by not supporting it on the iPhone. So it died. But then there's the attitude of the visitor. And so this is the Amazon thing. People now want to get to everything quicker. I mean, this is the big thing, the underlying thing with why people use live chat. It's all about getting things done quicker and spending less time researching. Unless you're doing something fun, everyone wants to research a holiday or buying a property or making a major purchase. If you've got to find an accountant or a law firm or a plumber, you're not going to sit and read a ton of stuff on a website to do it. You want to get there quickly. So websites have simplified. They're not as complicated in their layouts. They all follow a very similar pattern. And visitors come on and literally go, can I see what I want? No, boom, they're gone. You could write the best message in the world, but if it's just below where the screen lies, they're not going to scroll down to see it. And that kind of helps with having live chat on there, because if they sit there and go, it looks good, but do they do what I want? And then a little pop-up comes up, hi, my name is so-and-so, I'm not a chatbot, can we help? They'll ask the question, can you do my tax return? And that's how you get the engagement.
Yeah, so you might have information hidden on your site. Even if you take care of SEO and you think about that seriously, the information might not be easy to navigate to. Yeah. So in that instance, you need somebody there to say, we can help. Whatever it is you're looking for, we can help get you there.
Yeah, definitely.
But we've got some more questions coming through. So I'm going to divert onto these if you don't mind.
Sure.
I always get confused when I get on live chat to seek for advice. I would prefer to speak to someone over the phone and get the issues sorted. So it's not necessarily a question, but definitely backing up what we're speaking about here. You just need your problems fixed. And I think that's marketing all over these days. I've got this problem. Can you fix it? Yes or no? How do we go about that? And the quicker you can answer that question, the more you will win.
Yeah, and just on that as well, most of the time we are giving information back to visitors that is right there in front of them. They just haven't identified it because it may be further down. It may be in small text they haven't read. So often it's just, you're backing up your message, but you're doing it in a targeted way. Someone's asked a question, you give the answer.
No one's got time anymore. I don't have time. I don't have time to go onto a website and search for the stuff that I want. If it isn't automatically there, I just need to get it sorted, or I'll move on. And that's quite often actually what I'll do. I'll just move on.
Yes.
Which leads us on to this one. We are so busy nowadays that we just want to take a phone and speak to somebody to get our problems sorted. Chatting over web chat is so time consuming. So what would you say to that?
Well, I'd say that that's coming from someone who's probably a phone person, who's happy to pick up the phone and make a call. And I know I'm not one of those people. I can't remember the last time I went to a website, got their number and called them. It would normally be after we're working together. You know, you might give them a call to say, how's this going? Or I've got some questions. But when for me, that initial thing is about doing something that avoids making a phone call. And the great thing with live chat and even web forms is they're just there to supplement communication channels. You're not going to replace your telephone number with live chat because you're going to annoy the people that want to make a phone call. But likewise, people that want to chat are mainly given phone numbers, which is why they hit the back button.
Yeah.
And they keep hitting that back button, the dreaded back button, until they find a company that they can talk to in the way they want to. I think it's far too easy to think I would prefer my visitors to call me, and therefore that's the only way I'm going to give it to them. You know, you want to give them everything that you can possibly give them so that they do contact you.
Yeah, I think it's really important that we need to meet the customer where they are and not have our own prejudices as well. So I don't want to phone people. I want to find out the information that I want as quickly as possible, make up my mind. I think 90% of your decision-making process happens in the research phase. And by the time they get to a phone call, it's yours to lose. So I think that it's really important that we need to put ourselves in the position of our clients. Once again, not just with chat, with everything. What do the clients need? What's their preferred communication style? I want to just divert back to the stuff I want to talk to you about, because one of the things I found really interesting is how the accountant can use this in their positioning. Obviously, coming from my background, I want them to be as clear as day with how they position themselves. And I found one of your testimonials really interesting. So how can this be used to position the accountants?
So they might have their messaging about who they are as a business. So I think the one that you're referring to, they were promoting themselves as modern accountants for the digital age. So everything they do is about automation and making things slicker and easier for people. And one of the chats that we handled, which ultimately turned into a new client, was someone that actually searched for those keywords. And therefore, when they came to a modern accountant, they got live chat with a real person as opposed to what they would normally get, which is call us. It was a Sunday, I think, this chat that came in, so they couldn't call them. Or the alternative is a form or an email. And we both know that a form and an email get sent and they may well get answered the next day, but you don't know that as a visitor. You have got to wait now to hope that they come back to you.
Yeah.
And that's why you hit the back button again. It's like, well, I'm going to wait for those guys because they look good. Got a nice website. They've obviously spent some time on their content, all that good stuff, but I still want to hear back. I want confirmation. So they'll go and find another accountant. And all it takes is to get a little bit further down the line with someone else and they won't talk to you again. So you've lost that opportunity. So their positioning was very much, we're digital, we're modern, and therefore you can contact us in some digital and modern ways, as well as the phone, if you like.
Yeah. And I think that's so important. If we're going to use, we are proactive, we are modern, we communicate with I can't remember how most people phrase it, but we communicate with our clients more than other accountants, then this type of service just demonstrates that. And I think it's the power is in demonstrating what you do, not telling people what you do.
Yeah.
So I think people are missing a trick because they tell people, but they don't necessarily live it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And I think what's interesting there as well is, as something you just said that made me think of it, is that we found that with a lot of our accountancy clients, they'll end up having their existing clients come onto the live chat and use that to just inform them about something because it's convenient to them. And actually, we've had some accountants go like, well, you know, that's not really a chat because they're an existing client. And we've said to them, well, they chose to use that over calling you or send you an email because it was more convenient for them.
Yeah.
Surely they're now happier to have been able to do that rather than have to call you.
Absolutely.
And then of course you get that, oh, I don't want to get a call. Well, I'd rather they called, but you can't tell people how to communicate with you. You have to give them the options and let them choose.
Yeah. And I think that we live in a world where people would rather WhatsApp their mum, sorry mum, than pick up the phone. That's the era we live in. Messages are everything because you can control them. I'm sending a message, I'm in control of that. Whereas picking up the phone, it gets all a bit like telephone tennis and whatnot. So if we live in the age where we're WhatsApping our mum, live chat on a website really shouldn't be too hard, should it?
Not at all. Not at all.
You can use that.
So write that down quickly.
I've got another question for you. How do you make money with Milu? Do you charge per question sent over or the web chat, or do you charge per click? How does that operate?
Okay, so it works by the number of legitimate chats that we handle. So a legitimate chat is where someone comes on and says they want something that business does. Most of the time, those will end up being a lead, because if we're having a conversation with someone that actually wants something the client wants, the visitor wants, we can then say, yes, we can do that. Give us your details. Sometimes people don't want to give their details, or they're just asking questions because they're very early. And that's fine, but it's a legitimate chat. If someone's on there trying to sell to you, so we'll get a lot of chats where people are saying, we'll get you top of Google, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We build your website, we can write content.
They're fun people, they are.
Oh yeah. We're very learned on how to handle those sorts of people, but we don't count those sorts of things. So it's all about legitimate chats. And so we basically put it into like a bundle. So 75% of our clients are on our standard, which is up to 50 a month. And that's where charging starts. So it's up to 50. Some people may only get 10. For example, that accountant again that got the 1,600 a month client, they probably only get about 10 chats a month, but half of them are leads, and they probably convert so that's 5. They probably convert 3 or 4 of those. Not necessarily every month, because sometimes they do take longer to get through the funnel, but it's that return on investment. So yeah, that's how we charge. We've got some clients that have got 2,000 chats per month. They're not accountants, by the way, but they do get lots of volume, and we just basically charge on those numbers.
It's interesting. I had a misconception, and I will be honest with that. I thought you would need a lot of traffic to the site to make this viable. You've totally blown that out of the water for me. Like the traffic is low, very normal, by the way, for an accountant to have low traffic.
Sure.
Because SEO is incredibly difficult, especially if you're not working with an SEO specialist. So it's not necessarily, the accountant's website don't necessarily have the highest amount of traffic, but those conversions and that ROI, that's amazing. I would be happy with that.
Well, that's why. So when we first started, our initial target industries were law and accounting, and it was because of the value of a lead. So many more accountants are going on to these monthly plans where, rather than charging for their time, they're charging monthly, and then they're providing more value because of that. And that way you've got a really good way of tracking your ROI, because most of the accountants we work with probably start at kind of 150, 200 pounds a month for their kind of base package. They only need one of those to come through every month, to then first month they've basically paid for us outright. Second month they're 100% up, and it just keeps going and going. Same with law, but they're more one-off, but a one-off could be £10,000. So it's more about the quality than the quantity. If you were selling a £10 widget or whatever, you'd need to have a lot of sales that come from live chat to justify the cost. Whereas for an average accountant, all it takes is one decent lead a month, and you are going to be on a really good ROI scale pretty quickly. Yeah,
definitely. Absolutely. And I love the fact that you're bringing in the client service level as well, because people forget that that's part of the marketing cycle. So if you can keep your clients happy, if they've got a reason to keep coming back to your website, it's going to boost your rankings. It's going to boost the credibility of your site. It's going to make your clients happier, so they're going to be leaving you more reviews. So this is all part of your marketing cycle. So it's good that you brought them both in.
Yeah.
We have another question.
Cool.
bit busy on the old questions today. So the tricky bit of live chat is a company will offer huge service, for example, offer a huge service, for example, £10, which looks like a good deal. But when you get on the phone to the company, you find out the service actually costs £100. This is a bogus advertising web chat to just get clients through the door and then sell them another service. So I think this is a different service that they've experienced for
Right,
web
okay.
chat, whereas they've told them it's going to be this small price, and then they've got onto it, and actually they just want to upsell them immediately. So I would imagine this is a potential competitor. Possibly,
but if that's the way they're doing business, then they can keep doing that, and they won't get very far.
They absolutely won't. And I hope we just shut the door in their face. No, thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
say goodbye.
For us, it's all about value. If we're not providing enough value, then clients aren't going to stick with us. And there's only two ways that's going to happen. And the main one is that there isn't the volume of traffic to have any chats happen. And the other way is that the quality of the chats coming through aren't quite what the visitor wants. But that's something that you can, that the client wants. That's something that you can work upon. So what we do, we have a 14-day free trial, which allows us to work with the clients to understand everything and fine tune. And then once they start paying us, it's a rolling 30-day contract. So no one's ever locked in for a long time. It's on us to perform and perform at value. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So we have review calls with our clients every month. We make sure that the chats we've handled worked. We get their feedback. So, it's mutually beneficial, because if we try to charge them more for nothing, or we mishandle the chats, we're not going to get very far. So we treat ourselves as part of their team. So you say about the whole marketing kind of sphere, we become part of the team that is the online reception for the website, just like you'd have a receptionist in your office. If they don't answer the phone, or if they give people the wrong information, you're going to lose business. So we are exactly the same. It's about being consistent and proactive on there.
So there's two things I want to cover before we bring this to a close. If you've got any questions, now's the time to get them in before we lose Lee forever.
I can come back.
No, and I will connect you as well. So if you're not connected with Lee, make sure you are, because he's always there to help you. But if you have any questions, get them in. So my 2 points are, first of all, we've got one question that's come through, and it says, the issue I find with live chat is not all information advice fits all. Some information might not apply to everyone. It's not one size fits all. And some people just might have different situations where live chat would not apply. Now, I think there's a massive difference between chatbots and live chat. So if you could provide some context, that would be amazing. But where do you think, Lee, live chat would not apply?
It's going to be things where the visitors are looking for more technical information. So I mentioned just earlier about this whole framing of an online reception. If you think of it in that way, what we're providing is, we're not going to know every single nuance of our clients' businesses. And we're certainly not going to try and give financial, accounting, tax advice to visitors, because we're not experienced enough for that. The idea is, it really is about being there for visitors. So if someone tried to use an outsourced live chat for, say, support, that would probably be a misuse of it, because the people handling it, say it was us, me, Lou, we'd have to understand their products and services absolutely inside out to be able to provide that support. And it would be very good to support if we said, hi, we're here from support, what do you need? And they ask a question and we say, well, we're going to have to get someone else to contact you. When we contextualize that as a lead gen on a website, if someone says, can you do X? And we say yes, in order to get you through to the next stage, we need to set up a discovery call or get someone to contact you. They're much more happy to give their details, not actually getting too technical. So chatbots could be good for potentially doing support, because you could program it to know everything about the software. Someone's always going to have a question that isn't thought of, and then it's just going to end up saying, I need to get you through to someone else. So it really does depend on the business, but we have our biggest successes through all of our industries with as I've said, accountancy, law, anything professional services, basically, because people have come onto the website because they need that and they just want to get things started. And by being there for them, they can go, great, I've got that job done. I'm not going to hit back. I'm not going to go and find someone else. I'm going to tell my wife or husband that I've got that job done and we're getting sorted next week. Whatever it is, they feel like they've already had that first stage because they've spoken to you. They haven't sent an email. They haven't filled in a form. They've actually spoken to someone. Now, spoken is the word here that, the universal word for I've communicated with somebody.
With another human.
Yeah. So whether it's phone or it's on live chat, you've communicated with someone and you're now in the pipeline. You're in the funnel. But things like support or anything where someone's not going to give their details unless they have an answer to a super technical question, I don't think it would work.
Yeah. So I hope that answers the question. If there's anything else you want to say about this, then please drop it into the comment box. I want to ask you, and I really do want to get to the I'll get my words out in a second. I want to ask you, why should accountants be talking to their clients about you? Now, they might or might not use you on their site. I think it's a bit of a no-brainer for most accountants, not everyone, but most accountants who are actively using their website. But what about recommending you to their clients?
Well, I would say that most accountants who are looking after their clients are going to be helping them grow their businesses. That's a major function of an accountant. They make sure everything's working properly financially, and they show them ways in which to grow or get in funding and build up their businesses. So if they know that a client of theirs is spending money to get visitors onto their website, there's an easy way of saying you could get so much more from that if you had live chat. And I'm more than happy for them to recommend that the client tries it themselves, because that's, ultimately we're trying to sell what we do. But the problem we have is that most people have never experienced it before, or they've only experienced it negatively, i.e. they've been on a around the houses chatbot chat that's just ended up going nowhere and frustrating them. So they associate live chat with that. But when you have real conversations with people on your website, you learn so much, because they can tell you stuff that you wouldn't normally get, because they're not going to pick up the phone and go, oh, by the way, your website doesn't work. Whoever does that. Whereas they jump on a live chat and go, that link didn't work. The form doesn't submit. You learn stuff. And just in the process of a chat, they will actually tell you things that maybe you didn't realize, like, oh, people want that. Okay. So you're giving them a channel that allows them to build their business more. So yeah, I think an accountant could easily recommend putting live chat on their clients' websites, because it would help them grow.
I think so. I think there's a real good opportunity to add some value there.
Sure.
One of the comments that have just come through in the Q&A is saying that the retail industry could probably benefit from this because of the different trends, clothes, sizes, measurements, and there are lots of questions about retail. But I'm sure it could be used almost anywhere where there's website traffic, because there's always questions.
Yeah, there's always questions. I mean, we have a few e-commerce clients, and they are slightly trickier in that if people ask technical questions about a product, whether it's clothing or a food item or something, unless the information is available to us as operators, for Milu, it could be that we can't answer those questions. But the majority of questions that do come through are simple ones, like, if I order this now, will it come by Friday? And if you say, yes, you can use this shipping method and it will be guaranteed by Friday, they will check out. Whereas if they couldn't get that answer quick enough or couldn't find it, maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they'd stop and get a block and then go back to the next result in Google. And it's the same with things like accountancy. People just want to know simple stuff. Like, we very rarely get any questions about, how does tax work in the UK? or as an accountant, how do you do this? People don't want to know that. They just want you to do it for them.
Talking as a muggle, I don't care. I want my accountant to know this.
Exactly.
My things is, when do I need to get my stuff over to you by?
Yes.
What are my responsibilities? How can I help you do the job that I don't want to do? That's what I know.
Yeah. And how can we get this done super quick? Because I'm busy.
Yeah. And also, how can we get it done super quick? Because I am late. Not that happens anymore. I've got a very good accountant. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Right, so I think we're coming to the end of this webinar now. If there is any other questions that you, or if there are any other questions that you want to get in right now, please drop them into the box. We're going to hang around here for another couple of minutes, but if there are no questions, you are free to go. I hope you enjoyed this website. I want to say thank you very much to Lee for joining me and delivering this informational piece, because I've learned a lot today. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Hopefully,
very welcome.
Hopefully all the participants have got something to think about now.
Yeah, I think so. And this webinar is going to go up onto the YouTube channel. So if you want to revisit it, if you want to send it to other people, if you want to have a quick look at the Milu website, I'm going to put all of the links in the description under the video as well. So what is your email address to contact you? That's
okay. So
do you want me to send this out?
Yeah, you can send that out. That'd be fine. There's a hello@miluchat.com on the website, or you could just chat on the website. But if you want to talk, you can also call as well.
Okay. So I'm going to add all of these to the description, so you've got all of the resources that you need. Thank you so much for your comments, Sam. Nice to see you here. So he said spot on. I don't know whether you can see the chat. I've got no idea what you can see.
That one popped up then. I haven't been able to see all of them, but that one did pop up. So yeah, thank you, Sam.
I'm going to stop recording this now, but you just wait there a moment.
Sure.